Large building on the corner of Fifth Avenue and 8th Street.
I think that's Broadway, I believe, or down around Soho.
Yeah, looking north.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't avoid them. Huh?
Yeah, she was out by Bryant Park preaching one day with her Bible and stuff. And I was like, wow, okay.
Nothing changed, huh? Just the costumes.
You know where that is? That's McDougal and what is it? Bleecker Street. In the Figaro, actually. I was sitting in the Figaro. You know who that is? Huh?
No, who's this?
Roddy McCoy.
Who's he?
You don't remember him?
No.
The Brooklyn, Brownsville Board of Education. I mean, when they had that thing about decentralization. And
Yeah.
stuff.
That was
And
big.
he was the head of the board, I think, at that time out in Brownsville. Because he was in the news and stuff.
Man under fire.
Yeah, Central Park, the mall.
More.
That's the thing they used in that Brooklyn show.
Back to the arch. This was a challenging area of black photographers. We could do that too, Just don't do it all the time.
They put you in a special category, man.
Yeah.
Black photography.
Yeah, high contrast, backlit. Yeah, that's it. They can't do that fine stuff. They don't even know how to print.
You're only supposed to shoot black people.
Yep.
You shoot white people too?
Wow.
I was watching Spike Lee on the news one night, and all these people, all these reporters were out there. He was coming out of a building someplace. They were asking him when he did that. What was that movie that he did? The Right Thing. Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
And he had John Turturro and a couple other people in there, and some white cats. And they asked him, said, "Why do you have white people in your movies?" He turned around and looked at him. I mean, the reporters asked him a question like that. He said, "You know, you people are sick, man." And white people have black people in their movies all the time, right?
They consider that very legitimate. That's a legitimate question. Nobody had been able to pose that question. We can ask you, can't we? You got an opportunity to put everybody black in your picture. Why you bring the white folks in here?
You know, people are something else, man. You know?
Do a whole black picture. Wonder what that'd be like. Getting that facade in here. Definitely, sir. We have something definitely to work with. Put this collection back out there again. Let people see what you've been doing. How many years is this?
I don't know.
50 some?
Something like that, yeah. I haven't even put the stuff that I've shot recently, man, you know?
This is the Lower East Side?
What's that? Yeah, that's 6th Street.
6 where?
Between, what's that? I think that's Avenue B there, I believe. Yeah. That's from between C and B.
C and 6th Street. Wow. I live there now. Amazing.
Remember where NAG was? Not far from where NAG was. Negro Action Group. The community organization used to be on 6th Street.
Really?
Yeah.
6 and what?
Between B and C.
Really?
Yeah.
Who were they?
It was a community action group.
What year was this?
Mid-60s. In fact, that's where I had my first show at, actually. NAG, the Negro Action Group. They were on 3rd Street at the time, where near where what's the name is now, Ken Kellerman.
Oh,
Down
he
the
took that
street from
place.
there. Huh?
6th Street, not 3rd, 2nd Street.
But that's on
2nd
3rd Street. But they
Yeah,
moved to
3rd.
6th Street, and then they moved to Houston Street or 1st Street, like where where Houston and 1st
Yeah,
and the streets intersect. Like they had a new building there that because they had expanded. They had burned some tenement building on 3rd Street. And then they moved to 6th Street, and then they moved to Houston Street. There's a new building over there. I don't know what they're doing now. They might be defunct actually. That was a long time ago.
That's something we have to look into. So you have images of that situation then?
So that was my first. Well, that was one of the community.
That was the
action
first
groups.
show.
I did shop. I did work for it, for them.
Okay. Right. Who's this?
That's a brother named Abdul Majud. He that was in 1962, I think, when they had all those coffee houses on McDougal Street.
Uh-huh.
You remember the Playhouse?
Yeah.
And the Scoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where that was the Scoop downstairs. The coffee house. It used to be there.
Okay.
Right across from NYU.
All right, sir. You're legitimate. You pass. You're not one of those guys who go around talking with an empty camera, pretending to take pictures. You got film with that camera?
Yeah, I use a little, one of those little Olympus stylus.
That was my favorite camera for a while until I killed it.
Yeah, it's small, man.
Yeah.
It fits right in the palm of your hand. You get some good shots too.
Yeah.
Except you don't have too many options with it. It does everything automatically.
Okay, that's about it. That's a cut.
Let me show you some more stuff. A couple more things. Some pictures of women and some dudes in there. There you go. It's easier that way.
Nice, huh?
Yeah. This paper is
I don't know about back then, man. That's the young ones. They didn't know what to look at. Click. Click. Who's she? Look familiar.
She was a model. I did a portfolio for a friend of mine.
We all say that. Oh, she was a model.
She was. I mean, she was too.
He just happened to have a camera. Right?
Funny cat. Do you have anything up in your gallery now?
Yeah, I keep my work up on the wall. I keep it moving around. Just to
Nobody
keep
else's
something on the
stuff?
wall. No. I have pieces on the floor there, large pieces, 40 by 60,
Wow.
large mural pieces. I had a show at the Health and Hospital Corporation, so I got everybody to make large images, and then the deal was that he would frame them. So I figured that was a good deal.
Uh-huh.
So most of the pieces that was in that show I still got.
Oh, your stuff.
So I've been working with her, so she's done a couple of pieces. So she's been in 2 shows thus far.
How do you blow them up to 40 by 60?
They're all
To a
digital.
lab?
They scan the negative in, then write a CD and take it over to a
You like with a
digital
negative
lab.
scanner?
Yeah, and take it over to a digital lab, and they make whatever size you want.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It's just a matter of, can you afford it? Sure. How much is that? $150. How much you pay for yours? You got yours cheaper, right?
The last piece,
Yeah.
I think I did it in Adorama, the last piece. So,
Adorama?
yeah.
Mm.
So it's
She's from the Ukraine.
Uh,
She's different.
what do you mean?
She's from
Human being.
Ukraine.
situates. What is this?
Infrared.
I mean, wow. This is
You like that?
nice, yeah.
Is this infrared?
No, that's what, Tri-X, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably Tri-X. Well, actually, I had lost the negatives to that. So what I did, I copied.
That's what I'm looking at. Okay.
That's why it probably looks that way, because it has a softer.
Yeah.
So I just copied the print, made another negative of it.
Well, this is real black photography. This is what they expect us to do all the time. Stereotype. 1950s, 1960s.
White profiles.
Uh,
Like white profiles from,
Wide profile?
yes, not.
Well, I like profiles.
But, okay.
So she's different.
No, I do. I mean, I like profile shots. I think profiles are interesting.
No, you do backside shots too. This is classical stuff. Now we're getting to the action. Backside. It's like armpits. Ease you into this, like have the other stuff on top. You ready?
No, I told you what was in there, man. I warned you beforehand. Nothing pornographic in this, all art.
No, it's considered pornographic nowadays.
You hear about that girl that they busted, man? 14 years old, put herself on the,
It's silly stuff. All of a sudden they run that news all day, every day. They're running, just running, they're running. Yeah, every 15 minutes they're running this thing. This girl posted it. She's gonna be charged with child pornography.
Yeah,
She
isn't
is a
that
child.
something?
What are y'all going? God.
On
Stupid
Facebook.
ass shit.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. MySpace or Facebook or
14
whatever.
years old.
She posted what?
She must have somebody
This is
like that. See, we can't show this stuff yet. They really wouldn't let him in. They know he was doing this. To come in on the easy side.
I've gone to a couple of places and I had shows at, my daughter was with me one day. And we went to this gallery at the show up in Tarrytown, a place called Red Wing. So I asked the woman, I said, well, how do you feel about nudes, being shown, And all of a sudden everything went silent. And she kind of looked, and she looked at me,
I'm gonna answer that one, huh? Woo! Touchy.
And my daughter said, well, my father's nudes are very
No, no, it ain't about none of that.
Yeah, he said they're cool, you know.
Just the mentioning of it creates havoc.
Yeah, right. Because you know, some people, you know, they don't, you know, they kind of wonder
No,
what you're talking about.
no, you know, it became a very sensitive visual area of the arts. You know,
Yeah.
even women got getting shot down for doing nudes.
Oh, yeah.
They had one photographer in there. She was like big time with the women's movement, and she did a whole nude study on, you know, some of her girlfriends. And man,
Who was that?
they kicked that woman out. What was her name? Her name would come to me. They really blasted her. She never recovered from that.
It was it Karen Tweedy Holmes?
No,
No?
no,
Oh, okay.
no. She used to work with Robert Frank. She was part of the Robert Frank thing.
Oh, okay.
Cynthia McAdams was her name.
I'm not familiar with her.
Yeah, she did a book on all the women who kind of like was very fundamental in getting the women's movement started. So because of her book, that really pulled the movement together.
Mm.
And then after that, she got into doing these beautiful nudes and infrared photography.
Wow.
That was the second book. That was called Rising Goddess.
No, I never heard
And,
that.
man.
What's her name? Cynthia what?
Cynthia McAdams.
McAdams.
Yeah, she lived right on Bleecker Street, right next to Robert Frank. Robert Frank kind of like used her in a lot of his films.
What,
So you
near
use
the
that
Bowery
as-
somewhere?
Bleecker and Bowery, yeah, right around the
Yeah,
corner.
yeah,
Yeah,
they had
yeah,
them lofts like-
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They're still around there. And then she was very close friends with the woman writer. You know, she was connected up. You name them, she had did some
This
images.
sounds sort of vaguely familiar.
Yeah, I had a show by her in the gallery, you know, to help her get us program back together again.
That's on the wall up there. That one.
Nice.
Yeah, it's sort of slightly toned in.
Giving her ideas.
Hey, that's cool.
These are greats, you know. They're buried behind the scene. Nobody want these guys to come out no more. You got all them hustles in there trying to say they're it.
You were using long exposures here? Or
Pardon me?
you used long exposure here? This photograph? Long exposure?
No, that was, I guess, probably 30th of a second, maybe. Because I had lights, you know, I had some lights, about 30th or 60th of a second, probably. I mean, I don't keep records of all that stuff. I mean, I just shoot it like, you know, the moment, you know.
Okay, let me bail out. I'll do a return trip, probably in about 2 weeks.
All right, okay.
Now I know where you are. Much more easy. I could probably ride my
So you can see
bicycle
my
up there.
building right on that satellite image, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
Through Earth.
Wow. How close can
Through
you get?
about 1,000 feet.
I mean, can you see? Okay, say the closest shot that you can get on the computer, right?
Yeah. Like cars is about that small.
So you can see the whole building and more.
You see the top of the building.
And what
looking
else?
down from the top. Maybe anything around it. Whatever, when the photograph is taken, whatever that is.
Wow. I'm going to check that out.
And then, like, I could just, in other words, the whole area of the whole of the United States is pieced together.
Right.
So you could take a trip across the country depending on how high you want to be. Or you go down, and it'll take you a long time to go all the way across. Right. Or go all the way across.
Focus in.
Yeah, you see different areas. And some of the areas now they got like what do they call it? A 3D view. So you could pull one of the controls so you could actually look
As
this
if
way.
you're going
Right.
across I've seen
Now
that one.
they got panoramic views.
Right.
So you could like open up the whole area.
Wow.
because they brought in other kind of informational resources. Then there's other areas where you got, if you pay for it, you get real-time images.
I hear they can actually see a license plate on a car if they want to.
At an angle, yeah. You have to pay for that.
You got to pay for that.
Well, there's a lot of people who like, like a lot of businesses, a lot of business
number of the car.
Yeah, a lot of business buy into actually looking at specific areas. Mainly that was only available to the security people.
Right.
Or the military people. Now you could buy an online service from France that you could track people.
Walking down the street.
Yeah.
You mean they can track you walking down the 4th Street?
Yeah. It's interlinked. If I got my cell phone with me, it's interlinked.
Wow. It's amazing.
And then most every space have records. The space in this building. There's a record for it.
What do you mean a record?
The actual outline, and there's people who live in these different spaces here. The levels.
You mean floors?
Yeah. That could be accessed also.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, where things are going. So people, it's like a hobby for a lot of people to get involved in that stuff. Once you get involved in that stuff, you can sell the services in terms of what you know and have access to.
Wow.
Questioning chair.
Okay.
That's good. We've got a lot of talent in, our group. People who come out through and around, our world. And we've got an awful lot of talent there. And the idea is that every person, who is in this group show or exhibition or whatever you'd like to call it, is, inordinately talented in their respective fields, okay? Each person tackling it different. And what it is that each person has had, a career commercially, but also it is their body of work, which is coming into its own at this period of time. And I really believe that that's true.
Right.
I see it in Alex's work in particular, and in other people like yourself, fabulous work that now takes on new significance because of time.
True.
So that's one of the ways that I kind of feel about it and look at it. It's not the only way. It's like, these talents now are ripe for nourishing. And I really think that part is true too. The commercial sector, what you've done in the commercial sector is one thing. But, when you view this portfolio of work, from more of a fine art perspective, that's 6 photographers between 6 and 8 that you put.
Who are they?
They are people that you know. They are yourself. They are Winston Vargas. They are Hugh Bell.
Hugh Bell and
What is the fellow that Hugh Bell knows that you and I talked about?
Tony?
Yes.
Yeah,
Tony Barboza.
I
Fred.
know Hugh Bell, I know Tony, but I don't know the others though.
Well, Fred Tooman. My other half, Fred Tooman.
Oh.
But you don't know the personal professional side of Fred. His personal work is something that he's been building since he was a young man. He's now 52. He's probably, the youngest of us all in that group, so he sort of represents the 50s, and born in the 50s and comes up.
Who is this?
Fred Tooman.
Oh, Fred.
Yeah.
Yeah, how is Fred, by the way? I'm getting
great.
old, what can I
Well,
say?
so is Fred. So is all of us.
That's too much in my brain. I think my brain is, today, I tell you, today, I had so much I have to do, different.
I know.
And I got to a point that I felt like I said, I was going to walk out of here, so forget it, I'm out of here.
Well, you know what
And I don't normally do this. I took a cup of drag off a joint and laid on the couch here.
and had a glass of wine, but that's what we're supposed to do. I did it yesterday.
And that don't happen, on Tuesdays I'm ready to kick like crazy, and Mondays I'm not, but Tuesday and this, I couldn't get it together. I did a lot of stuff, but
be kind to yourself. You
It's
probably
just,
got more done than you thought, That's
So-
not what I say to myself.
I got so much on my head that,
But now here are a couple of things that have happened to us. We we, meaning me and what's, left of my staff, which is the same staff I've always had. Becky's still with me, Stephen's still
That's
with
one
me,
thing I
Fred's
admire.
still
That's one
around.
thing I admire about you.
Thank
You keep them all glued together. There.
Yeah, we're glued. The new element, the new element in my horizon, which I don't know whether it will stay or not, is actually.
Sorry to interject, but how is Becky? I always liked Becky.
She is
Yeah.
fine.
I spoke to what's his name the other day
Who?
when I called.
You spoke probably to.
You said you're a rep.
Did you speak to Stephen?
Steve, yeah, I spoke to Steve.
Because it could be. Oh, you.
No, I
probably
spoke to Steve. We had
Okay,
we
yeah.
had a
Because
little rap.
the new guy in my place is Eric. I have a new guy
Yeah, you had
in the
mentioned that
place.
to me.
Yeah. So anyway, and the thing.
Can I get you a glass of wine?
No, thank you. I'm good.
Water?
Okay.
No, I'm okay.
Juice?
No, it's okay.
Nothing.
Yeah,
We're fine.
yeah.
All right. Okay.
So the new guy in the sphere is actually an infield. So that's rather interesting.
So what do you guys intend to, how do you
Well, for
title all
example-
of this? How do you title it? I mean, what do you call it?
You didn't bring that piece of paper from the notes, did you? We have lots of different titles. I thought maybe we can all come up with even a better title. It could be 50 years of visual,
See, the main thing now is to link everybody together again.
Yeah, for
So
So
the
sure.
that's
what?
why we link everyone together again. In other words,
And
people
can I ask you a
become.
question? Linking everyone together, what do you achieve from that?
Then we could start developing some sort of resource in terms of supporting the overall project. Because you have resources, Hugh Bell have resources, so it's just a matter of tapping into some of those old resources you used to have a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because
right.
a lot of the information you've done for them is still in their archives.
Right.
So in all probability, we could highlight some of those images with their sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
So they would come in behind all this to help. So we basically creating a profile for each person. You give some sort of historical significance.
Yeah.
At that point, what I'm trying to do is embed your name and what you've done in history. And the only way to do that is to get it organized and put it in place the right way. So everybody will be signing on to this here. So when this thing finally comes out, it just won't be like a one event. It's like be a major event. So this is the first phase of
You
pulling.
said one, you said major, and you said one. You mean it's going to be ongoing? Or?
Yes,
So
it is gonna
this
be
is ongoing.
It'll
This is
travel to other
ongoing.
places.
So it's just a matter of how it's all going to come together. This is just the formulative part of it now. Going around talking to each artist and letting them know what's getting ready to happen. It's not going to happen most immediate because there's other people we have to still discuss this with.
Yeah.
And then subsequently maybe we just have one major meeting to get everybody's time zone together. Because I figure the only way to really get this together now is to go to each individual artist rather than trying to pull them together at one time, which I subsequently tried to do and didn't quite wake up. So I'm like starting this all anew again. And there's different pieces that's in place I'm pretty sure I could tap into. It's just a matter of pulling the pieces together and showing the other individuals how this thing can work and having them kind of like get better response in terms of the overall network of the arts and getting a place to have it shown.
Individual, the ones who are participating, right? You're
Right,
speaking of-
Well, let me give you, for example, Winston is currently working where?
Autorama.
Autorama. So someone like myself then, with Winston's, support or go ahead, would contact them as a potential sponsor for it. And not just one sponsor, there'll be sponsorship levels.
So I spoke with Winston yesterday, not yesterday, but Sunday, and I spoke with Curtis Brown Sunday also. They came one behind each other.
Curtis Brown, you said?
Curtis
Yeah,
Brown,
you
yeah.
remember
Curtis
him.
Brown.
I
The first one I remember there. That name
He
kinda-
was in the making. He got all the way up to making a movie.
Right,
He
what happened
produced
to
the
Curtis,
movie.
man? What happened to Curtis?
He done lost about $5 million now. He's trying to get another $5 million.
No, where is he?
He's
at
driving a
this-
cab now.
Yeah,
He lives
but
out in Brooklyn. He's
uh,
got another big investor coming in now to help him make another movie.
Oh, which was the movie? He made a movie some years ago,
Yeah, yeah,
and so
yeah.
that never did that get going.
Yeah,
It's
he-
funny.
yeah.
Now
I think
you tap
I
back
think
into
the
my brain
investors cashed in on it, didn't get the right kind of distribution.
here. Is he still with his wife?
Yeah, they're still together.
Yeah.
He brought his son by.
Yeah, well,
the son
she-
has a wife.
She's
and
a
the kid.
real go-getter, you know that. well, hey.
Yeah, he told me they lost their house, they lost practically
Yeah.
everything, so they had to start
Oh,
all
man,
over.
I'd love to
again.
say hello to him.
Well, see,
Yeah.
that's going to be another good
So
thing about this.
that's what I mean by, you know, putting these pieces back together, because
I haven't
together we
heard
have
from
this.
Curtis in 20 years.
Yeah. So he's back in the system again.
Oh, is he? So he's trying to get back, yeah?
Well, he stopped by Sunday, let me know that he'll be coming by more on a more regular basis. He was embarrassed due to the losses that
How
he
is he
had.
holding up?
He's happy, you know. Like you said, you gonna run out of here, right? Slam the door behind you.
Well, that was just a thought. It didn't happen. It takes a tsunami to
Get you out.
you know, I just lay on the couch and
But we all go through that, you know. I've been through that.
yeah, but when I go through that on a Tuesday, see on a Monday when I get back here, that's the time I allow to adjust, right? When it
Yeah.
comes Tuesday, I got up early, I was up at 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning, you know, and thinking, I had all my plans laid out.
And you know, there's other parts of your life I probably would like to tap into in terms of things you've done. Say ice skating, for instance, the silver skates. Remember the silver skates?
Mhm.
Did
Sure, I
you
remember
skate in silver skates?
Do I remember silver skates?
Well, you know, I want to tap back into that part of your history.
Mhm. Well, you know, I'm back on the ice now again, right? You
Yeah, I
know
want to tap back in that part of history and link it up.
I'll show you something. This is show you that I'm back and strong on the ice again. And this is for free, and it's because of me. $1,500
Really?
pass they give me every year.
Okay, I'll take it.
That's neat.
So I would like to link it up to the recent achievement of the other guy who kind of like made it all the way to the championship. And, you know, in other words, you were one of the original people who kind of like got into speed skating at that early stage of time,
All right.
and like also tap into the cycling thing, and then bring that into focus.
And my
So-
skiing now.
Yeah. So there's a lot of pieces. There's a lot of pieces each individual carry around with them, and nobody really knows about that part of the history. So in all probability, we have to get people to talk with you to document it and put that into the system. So that's the other part that I want to start working on another level, though. But right now I'm trying to put all the pieces together. I just want to let you know that there's other pieces of your life that have to be put into context.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think if you're gonna do, I think in each individual, you should have some historic background.
Yeah,
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
would-
yeah,
would-
yeah.
You can't just, yeah.
This could be a book.
So what I'm doing now is I'm running a tape on this here, and then I should have done that with Hugh Bell. I was a little lax. Then each individual will get a copy of this. I'm writing a CD, or rather DVD of this. So each individual will get a copy of it. So each one will know what happened prior to what's going to get ready to be discussed with them.
Mhm.
So anything they
So-
hear in this here, they could like, you know, enlighten on or put something else in.
We speak about sponsorship, and it's going to be the whole structure of this is going to be based on sponsorship. I mean, the individuals don't have to put up any money, do they?
No,
No.
I think what the individuals can do for us, which would be really great, is to come up with some people that I can contact
Mhm.
and use their name.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking, you know, really. For example, I had gone to a concert not too long ago at the New York Times Center. Not too many people know about that space. It's a wonderful space. And, you know, we've had some unbelievable luck just going to people cold and saying, here's what we do, we're event specialists, we're putting together this marvelous exhibit. I'm sitting at a meeting, I guess it was, I didn't tell you this, about a week ago, with a group called Momentum. They're down on tough times too, okay? They got purchased out by Village Care, and Village Care doesn't give a damn what they're doing, they just want to continue their thing and, you know, have a little of that going. But basically, they work with HIV/AIDS, and they have kitchens all around around Manhattan in churches that they work out of. But their parent company does a visual art exhibit every year. So I told them what I was doing, and they said, "Oh, we want to talk to you about that."
You know Nancy Richardson, Gabby?
Mm-mm.
She, I could show you on the computer. she's a friend of mine, but she has a big gallery down at 21st Street, somewhere around there. And she specializes in photography, fine art, you know. But she's like actually number one in the you heard of her. Yeah, she's a good friend of mine. What I was planning to do, I have this folder here, sitting here. Oh, you know, I got involved with Phillips and a bunch of these different people. And with all what's happening with me, you know, these things take forever as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And I need immediate money, so I had to put it on the back burner. And you know Sherry Brofman, you heard of Sherry, right? Sherry and Norma Jean Garden. You know.
I remember some of these people. Are these Philip Morris
Sherry,
people? Are these Philip Morris people? No.
No, Sherry Brofman.
No, I remember
The
her.
blues people, Seagram 7.
Oh.
The black girl who married to Brofman.
Oh,
You know
okay.
who,
I do
you know what I'm
know.
talking about.
I do, yeah.
Well, she and I, we were gonna try to get this, I was planning to do a show, a whole thing, and I'm gonna call it Black and White. It's all black and white images, you know, those type of images behind you. But it would be, when I say black, it's black and white, but at the same point, it's gonna compose of black models and white models, you know.
Yeah.
That whole thing. And then I dropped it again, you know.
Well, we're here to try to get all that, you know, re-energized, because there's more dynamic in doing it together, I think, than trying to just be alone. But I think like everybody's pieces are going to start fitting together. I really do. Now that little thing about the people at Momentum, they have a huge space down on Rivington Street, and they put on a visual exhibit every year. Now I'm not saying that's the only place that we could do it, but that's the kind of thing that we can plug into with this exhibit once it's all together and contained.
Where's this place?
So you need to give her the name of these people.
Rivington Street. Rivington, down on the Lower East Side. They have a huge building on Rivington in the Lower East Side.
Now you had mentioned you were going to use 3 images from each individual.
Maybe
from each
more.
artist.
And
That's the
that's-
minimum.
Alex,
How can you?
No,
put on
that
a
was just a
No, no.
perspective.
yeah.
Right
and-
now, there's another direction taken, mainly getting in touch with the individuals and linking this thing back up again. Then we can get into that part of it, in terms of what will
Okay,
be
so
shown.
3 images.
No,
No, no,
no,
no, no. It
Okay.
could be, it could be 6 images, you know,
So-
The
whatever.
reason why
Okay.
I'm interjecting in this is because you got 6 people, 3 images of each person.
No.
That's nothing.
No, no,
No,
no. I
no.
didn't
Say if
3,
we want to do
6.
something on the internet, for instance, put something on there. We would need 3 images just to give some sort of perspective about what each artist is
Yeah.
I hear what
doing.
you're saying at this point, but
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it
not
did.
for show, not for show, not for show.
It-
no,
it
no.
depends.
It's
It-
PR.
Yeah, for
Oh,
PR.
PR.
But it depends on the size of the space that we get, doesn't it? You know, how much we can do. I can see it being a show of
Yeah, but
50 some odd
that's further
images.
down the road.
Yeah.
There. Right now, it's all about putting the pieces in place
yeah,
in order
for
for that
sure.
to happen.
Oh, all right, because
So-
I was saying, hey, 3 images of each. What kind of show is that?
Yeah, because I figure each person will be linked together and put on Facebook. You familiar with Facebook?
Yeah, but not in depth. But go ahead.
And it'll be around the whole idea of what's getting ready to happen. That way we get the sponsors, whoever's interested in this project, we could like direct them to this piece that will be on Facebook, give them more in-depth information about each artist. So they're able to like either say yes, or they could say no, or could say, well, why don't we do it this way?
Let me tell you something about Facebook, okay? I have a client called the Manhattan Vintage Clothing Show. He went on Facebook with, you know, a sampling of what was going to be in his show. He got 400,000 hits on Facebook, and he believes that one of the reasons why he, in this terrible economy, had a record-breaking knockout attendance at the Metropolitan Pavilion for his show was through Facebook.
So that's what happened in that part of it. So that's where I want to like take most of this information once it's gathered.
So what
From
kind of
each other.
timetable are you looking for to?
There's no fixed
to-
timetable.
No, I'm speaking about gotta go. You know, you gotta have a time.
I think
you
so.
gotta have to have a
Well,
timetable.
this
to
is the
achieve goal.
timetable. I'm doing it already.
No. Well, okay, forget the word timetable. When you got a climax, meaning when is the show What's the
It
what's the
depends
date
on how
that you put
depends on how the pieces come together.
right,
Otherwise there'd be a lot of problems that I want to get involved in. It could take a whole year.
No, I hear you, Alex. I'm just saying that I think it's a good idea.
Well, the
to have a
idea
date
basically is
and work for that.
the
work
idea
at it
is
from
to
that
put it
perspective.
together as quick as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I'm going week by week with each artist.
Mhm.
So there's about, to give you an idea, there's about 6 to 8 artists, okay? There could be more, but at least that's what we discussed so
Yeah,
far. But and we're seeing 1 week, and we've been pretty good about that. Not perfect, we got started.
Yeah,
right?
last week was a bad week, so
Last
let
week
that
was a
fall.
bad week, but next week I'm here. We'll see someone else,
That's right.
right? And so that might take 2 months to do.
No,
And maybe after we do that, in 2 to 4 months, we can start thinking about Facebook maybe, okay? And then, once we get Facebook up, that's very important because I feel that links to other things. For example, if I'm out there and I'm talking to the people that I just mentioned to you, the Momentum people, I can say, go look on Facebook and you'll see portraits of some of the artists. I mean, not just portraits of their headshots, but
biography.
a biography of the artist, a little sampling, of what they do on Facebook. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Our show can be anywhere from 50 to 100 pieces, we could say. You need to put the space and the money behind it. I personally feel that it's a worthwhile project to the extent that I'm willing to put some time in there.
And what's the? I know you got A, B, C, D, E. Going
But that's
down
pretty
the road.
clear.
I mean, what's the end at the? There's no end of the day, but what's? Should I say is the climax of all of this
The
at
climax?
the end of the day?
The climax of this, as I see it,
To put
okay?
more focus on the individual artist
Yeah.
and whether or not somebody wants to do a job with you or whatever.
I think it should be. It shouldn't be just.
It's up to you to make that
it's up to
decision.
I don't think. You said the individual. The climax is about the individual artists. If you group them all together as a common force,
Well,
and I
that's,
think that force shouldn't just lie in the individuals within that force. The force. Like, as I heard, wind and fire, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's got to be something where...
It would take on its own dynamics in terms of the individual energy that's being put out by this group and what it generates. See, I'm not looking at this as New York. I'm looking at this as a world kind of thing.
Okay, using the
By
word,
going,
fine,
by
that's
going,
good.
by
But-
going, by going into this system here.
okay, but I'm here to give it a little bit
Well,
more.
you think about maybe taking it into a book form. That's what I'm trying to say.
All
Where
right,
are you thinking?
here-
That's the
Let-
possibility of
let
whoever
me
can
outline-
tie
That's when
into
I
this.
say climax,
Yeah.
I'm
All right.
saying
It could-
where you're going.
It can take any form. It will take a lot of forms.
Yeah, but
It's just how that package will come together
Here's what I
and
see.
what kind of
'cause-
monies we put on top of the package to make it operate.
All right.
I hear you.
But me, my whole life is nuts and bolts. So here goes nuts and bolts. Okay, I take his stuff and I give it a structure. All right, and I think the Facebook thing is the first thing. But yes, I think there will be an exhibit. There will be a show.
The exhibit.
Okay.
I understand all that. I'm looking
Way
down
beyond the road.
infinity.
Way
I'm saying
beyond.
you gather all of this matter.
The individual won't be contracted to do anything specifically for this project, which means that if somebody comes along and offers you a big chunk of money, you can go off and do what you want to do. We just ask for you to do a backdrop in terms of, okay, here's some money from this project.
No, no, what I was thinking, Alex, like if you speak about sponsorship, right, and if this thing propel and move in the direction that you have the vision to see, then it's all going to become it's all going to come out of sponsorship. If you know what I'm trying to say.
I
The
do.
money, right?
If we're going to put on an exhibit in a space other than the 4th Street Photo Gallery, then
If what?
if we're going to put on an exhibit eventually with this in a space other than the 4th Street Photo Gallery, then the sponsorship will go to securing the
I don't
space.
think.
You know.
No. Don't take it personal, but I don't think 4th Street Gallery can can absorb it.
No, I just said, if we're going to put on the exhibit in a space other, outside of the 4th Street Photo
Oh,
Gallery, in a
outside.
space like, the New York Times Center or something like that, because I too see that, it's got potential to have over 50 some odd works in it, it'll be,
Well,
the sponsorship money is used for that kind of thing.
there's institutions throughout the world that this thing probably can go to.
Right, I
There's
agree.
there's another level of interest in terms of what's going on in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. That's a historical time.
Right.
So therefore, a lot of people's interested in what you've done during that time, the people you've worked with, the people who became subsequently famous, the people that Winston worked with, the people that you, so there's like a generation of time linkage in terms of generations.
I understand.
So you pull all that together, yes, it's a major book.
It is.
Well,
Yes,
that's what I was trying to-
it's a major. Go down and sit down and talk on some TV show about who
but-
you are.
Yeah, Alex, that's
So
what I
it
was
gives
trying
you
to say.
it gives you a profile essentially. This is just the beginning of what
It's
can
just
happen.
the beginning.
Yeah, but hold